Okay, hello everyone. It's Angela, the Healthy Chef Lady, and today we're going to go over something that everybody likes to learn about, knife skills. So I'm not too crazy with knife skills, but a lot of people I know want to learn how to slice and dice and chop and do all those cool things. So we're going to start today with just teaching you how to set up like a pro. So you want to set up, it's called mise en place, which means everything in its place in French. And basically what you want to do is you want to have an area where you have all your foods to be prepped. You want a garbage bowl, and then you want a bowl for your finished product. So everything stays nice and neat and nothing is mixing with anything else. You don't want onions that are already prepped mixing with you know, the brown part of the onions. So why don't we start with onions? First I want to show you how to hold a knife. So a lot of people hold knives back here, but you actually want to hold it. You're going to kind of put your palm out and you want to kind of just hold it right a lot closer than you would think. Usually this is a very good knife, so it's one piece. So usually there will be two pieces here, and that's where your guide should be, is where the knife ends and the handle begins. And you just want to grip it like this, so that way you have a lot of control over what you're doing and it's safe, okay? So we'll start out with onions. There are so many ways to cut an onion depending on what you're doing. So we're going to do small dice, we're going to do a saute slice, and we're going to do a salad slice. Okay, let's get started slicing an onion. The first thing you want to do is you want to leave the root part on, and we're going to just slice down the other side straight. And the reason why we do this is because we want it to be nice and flat, so that way it's safe and you get a nice even cut. Then we're going to go down the middle. Do you see how I put my hand around each side, and I'm going to take the knife and just bring it down and cut in the middle of the roots. Okay, and we have two slices, again, nice and safe. And we're just going to remove the outside layer of the onion and get that skin off. And we'll start off with a small dice. So what you want to do with a small dice, first make sure that all your little, you know, the onion scraps really get all over the place. Again, make sure that you're holding your knife nicely. You want your hand up like this to create a safe environment to cut your onion. And then you're going to cut, but do you see how I didn't go all the way? You're just going to kind of make a few cuts like this where you still have room. That'll keep it together. So I'm going to go 3 times. And again, you could see I have four different sections. And then you're going to put your hands on either side, and then you're going to go down the opposite way. This way you're going to go down about 6, 7, or 8 times, depending on how big or small you want your dice. This dice is really great to use in soups, stews, and then we're going to do a bear claw. So a bear claw, this is an actual term in culinary school we learned, is you want to just take your fingers and tuck them in, so that way when you're cutting, the knife is never at your fingertip and it has like a guide. So you're just going to cut down, 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 and everything will come out nice and even. You just move your hand back as you go along. You know, in the beginning, really take your time. I mean, I've been doing this for a few years and I still take my time, no need to rush. And you have a really nice, even dice. And the reason why you want that is because when you cook, you want to cook everything nice and evenly. So if you have different sizes and dice, you'll get an onion that's overcooked and then an onion that's undercooked. So once again, you want to cut the bottom, the opposite side of the root. Cut through the root to create a nice flat surface and remove the skin. Now, the reason why there are 2 different slices for saute slice and salad slice is because, you know, onions are pretty harsh, And when we do a saute slice, you want the flavor of the onion to stay in, so you don't want to cut through the membrane, which as when you're doing a slice for a salad, you want to cut through the membrane so that way the onion is not as harsh as it normally is. So now you have the same thing, nice flat surface. Instead of cutting through, it's a lot easier. We are just going to, you see how the lines of the onion go this way? Well, we're gonna cut across them because those are the onion membranes. So we're gonna cut across them to kind of get that harsh flavor out. So once again, you wanna do your bear claw. Another thing you wanna remember is so many people go up and down like this. The point of your, the tip of your knife should stay on the cutting board. So you're just going up and down like this with the bear claw to get a nice salad slice, okay, also known as half moon. And let's do a saute slice. So a saute slice is the opposite. You want to cut along the same lines as the membrane. You don't have to line them up, but you want to go in the same direction. So we're just going to cut the end off, bear claw this way. So you see we have both ends, and we're going to go this way. And this is good to do stir fry or sauteed onions and peppers, anything like that. It keeps the flavor of the onion in. And the look you'll get with that is this. And that's how we cut an onion. I'm going to show you how to do a few cuts with carrots. We're going to do a full moon, a half moon, a quarter moon, and chopsticks, which is great for salads. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is peeling a carrot. So many people peel this way. That is dangerous. So you want to peel going this way away from you, okay? So I peeled my carrots. You want to just cut your edges off that you're not using. And a full moon is super simple, and full moon is good for like stews, chicken soup, if you're making honey glazed carrots. So all you have to do, again, you want to keep the tip of your knife on the cutting board, and you just, with your hands in bear claw, you just want to go back and forth, just regular cut. This is called full moon. And it's super simple. Again, don't rush, take your time. And this is what full moon will look like. And then we will do a half moon, which all you're going to do is just cut your carrot in half. Okay, if your carrot is long, we already kind of went halfway through the carrot, but if it's long, like let's say this carrot, you would cut it in half this way. So that way you have two smaller parts, so that way things come out even. And you're just gonna put flat surfaces down always, line them up together, bear claw, hold your knife, and you're just gonna go up and down. This is good for chicken soup. It's just different sizes. I like my vegetables very small. So I'll do them like this, which is half moon, or a quarter moon, which we'll do next. So a half moon will look like this. And then a quarter moon, once again, you'll just take your carrot, cut the ends off. This is kind of long, so I would cut this in half. And I'm going to take this carrot and cut it in half. And then cut it in half once again down the middle. See how I put my fingers on either side of the carrot so that way they're not in the way. And again, I'm going to bear claw and just go up and down. I love when I'm making a lentil soup, split pea soup, to use the quarter moon because it's nice and small. And this is what quarter moon will look like. So we're gonna get a little fancy and we're gonna do chopsticks. This is if you wanna get fancy. If not, you can just buy shredded carrots at the grocery store. But I know people wanna learn, so I'm here to teach. So you're gonna peel, you're gonna cut your ends off. This is great for salads. And then you're going to cut the carrot on a bias. So you're gonna have it nice and straight in front of you. Again, bare claw. And you're just going to cut down. And they're gonna look like this. And then what you wanna do is stack them on top of each other. Bare claw once again. And slice down. And you have a nice, simple chopsticks. Kids would love this also for dipping, stir fries, salads, or anything else you could think of. This is a great way to eat them nice and raw so they're not a huge chunk of carrot. Now we'll learn how to slice a pepper. We're going to do bâtonnet and small dice. You want to make sure that your area is clean and free from whatever it was you were cutting before. Again, hold your knife. And we're going to cut the top straight down and the bottom. And then we're going to just slice down and cut around all that white on the inside with the seeds. And you should be able to get a pretty clean cut. We only have one or two seeds straggling around. Then we will cut this in half. And again, you want a bare claw. And we're just gonna make nice straight lines. So this is great for salads, stir fries, a dipping tray that you're going to be working on, or whatever else you want. And again, this is called bâtonnet. And this is what it looks like. And then from there, you can take the bâtonnet and line them up to do a nice small dice. And that's how I like it in my salad. So you're gonna line them up, bare claw it, and just keep slicing down. And you'll get nice even cuts to get a small dice for a pepper. So avocado, this is something that so many people want to learn how to cut. First, I'd like to go over how to pick a ripe avocado. You want it to be dark in color. You want to be able to press it in a little, not too much. And you don't want it to be hard. So I have a nice ripe avocado. I'm going to take a small knife and I'm just going to cut along the outside, touching the pit on the inside. And you can either scoop it out whole like that, or what I do is I'll slice it right in there like this to however I want it and scoop it out. Or I'm sure you're wondering how you're going to remove the pit. You want to get a larger knife and just kind of stab it and twist it a little bit, and that will remove the pit easily. And once again, you can slice it in there however you want. This time I'm going to go both ways because I want to smash it and put it on some toast for breakfast. And I'll just put it right in my bowl to smash for some guacamole or spread. And that's how you cut an avocado. Garlic. This is something that I use in practically every single dish. It's very medicinal, so I want to show you a few ways to make cutting garlic easy. So here is a whole bulb of garlic, And I'm just going to take a small knife to break it open so I can get a clove of garlic. So that is a clove. Instead of peeling it, an easy way is just to take a large knife, like a French knife like this, sit it on top of the garlic and just bang it. And it will easily come off. How simple was that? And you could just remove the little edge. And there's a few ways to slice garlic. So again, you want to hold your knife, bear claw, so you could just go straight down. If that's the look that you want. You could place it on top of each other and go back and forth to get a nice, kind of like a baton look for your garlic. Or you could take it a step further and go back and forth, over and over, for a nice mince, if you really don't want the garlic to be seen. And that's all you do. And you see how I'm holding the top, because we are just going up and down slightly, and you're going to remove the garlic from the knife. Another thing is you really want to use the back end of your knife anytime you're scraping something, because if you use the front, you're going to dull it. And just continue to go back and forth to get a nice small mince to use in soups and stews and anything else you want, spreading over steaks and chickens and things like that. We're gonna learn how to chiffonade. Fancy, right? So that is the fancy way of basically cutting basil. If you ever go to a restaurant and you see like, wow, it's cut so nicely and kind of drizzles over the top. So you just want to take some basil leaves. I've washed them already. And you're just gonna pick 3 or 4 or 5. And you want to lay them on top of each other and then roll them. And then take your knife and of course bear claw your fingers, and you're going to go back and forth to get that really nice professional look that all your friends will be wondering how you did. And this is what chiffonade looks like. Beautiful way to put in a tomato salad. You can also chiffonade if you're making your own coleslaw, which I highly recommend because you know what's going in it. Some cabbage. So you just want to pick away at the leaves that are kind of a little dead on the outside. There's my garbage bowl. And pick some nice leaves and do the same exact thing. So I'm just going to take 2 or 3 leaves. Now, it's your choice, but I do recommend cutting out the middle part because it's hard. So you can actually stack them on top of each other because, you know, the leaves basically are the same. And you can just cut the middle part out, but that's totally up to you. You could also keep it in, that's fine. And again, I'm just gonna fold it over and roll it. And this is probably one of the very few times that you're gonna lift your knife up and down just because it's so thick. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, you could just do a little bit less leaves. And as we get to the end, you keep the knife, the top of the knife on the cutting board. And for your own homemade coleslaw or whatever else you want to make, here is a nice chiffonade of cabbage. Butternut squash is something that everyone struggles with. I always get questions on what do you do with it, how do you cut it, so I'm going to show you how I cut butternut squash. You want to begin by peeling it. again, away from you to keep it nice and safe. And then we're going to cut it up. We need to scoop the seeds inside out. And then we're going to give it just a large dice. So once again, you don't have to go crazy, but you do want things to be somewhat uniform so they cook uniform. So now that we have our butternut squash all peeled, let's cut it up. Butternut squash is great not only for soup, but for side dishes, just roasting it or steaming it is my favorite way, and tossing it with a little olive oil and salt and pepper. Very simple and super delicious. It also helps get rid of your sweet tooth. So you want to cut the top off first, and I'll explain to you why. The bottom, okay, once again, you want to have it nice and flat. And we're going to cut down the middle. The bottom is the part that has the seeds in it. So we're going to scoop the seeds out. And once we scoop them out, then we can just cut it up. You want to get that inside remnants out also. That's good enough. And once you have that done, we're going to cut the end off. And we're just going to slice it. It is a little hard because it is a squash. Down into even. Always make sure that you can feel what is the safest way. When you have a piece like this, always put your fingers on either side to hold it. And line them up. I would line them up about 3 at a time. You can also buy this from the supermarket already done like this. But if you want to save some money or practice your knife skills, this is a great way to do it. And then you have like big chunks like this, which is usually the size you want squash. Then you have your top. The top will be a little easier because you don't have the hollow part inside. And once again, you're going to go down the middle. When you cut it, you want to cut it flat side down. Fingers on either side of the squash. And just cut it into long, even pieces. And line them up, bear claw again. And then we're going to go down this way. So we have nice, pretty even pieces of butternut squash to do whatever it is you need to do with it. And that is butternut squash. Sweet potatoes are another one that get people. What do you do with them besides baking them? How do you cut them up? So let's do that. Again, you want to peel going away from you. I cannot stress this enough. So many people peel going towards them and they get hurt. So when you're cooking, it's all about safety. So you can actually cook your meal and finish it. So you want to peel your sweet potato nicely. And one of my favorite dishes when I do potatoes like this is a sweet potato chipotle puree. And it's super easy. I dice it like this. And then I just boil it. And when I'm done boiling it, I throw it in my food processor with a little bit of salt, pepper, and adobe sauce, and blend it up, and it's really good and easy and different and a little spicy. So again, you want to hold your knife and cut the ends off. Never rush when you're doing sweet potatoes or squash because they're hard and it's easy to kind of, so again, I just want to cut it down the middle because I want to make it nice and safe and easy to work with, and cut it again down the center. And I'm going to bear claw. And depending on how big you want it, that's up to you. You could go smaller or bigger, whatever you're going to be doing with it. And you'll have like 4 nice slices like that. And then you'll turn it like this. And you'll get a nice, this is a large dice. So this is great for roasting and boiling. Strawberries, last but not least. We're going to do strawberries and bananas. You want to use a smaller knife. A large knife, it's just too big. And cut the top off. Put it in our garbage pile. And of course you want to wash your strawberries first, and then you're going to lay them nice and flat. So you can cut them a few ways. You can just cut them down. And they look like little heart shapes. So I'm going to call this the heart-shaped dice. Pretty. Put over chocolate mousse or cereal. And then you could actually dice a strawberry, which a lot of people don't do, but you can. And you could just put your fingers around it if you like things really small, and just go down 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to turn it the opposite way and then hold it. And 1, 2. You could have like small diced strawberries, however you like it. And then bananas, of course, you want nice ripe bananas for your smoothies or your cereal or just regular eating. I'm going to just peel the banana. And bananas are actually a great way to start off when you want to learn how to slice and dice because they're so soft. So it'll help you get in the momentum of just going up and down and gaining confidence. Then you have a beautiful thinly sliced bananas for whatever you'd like.